Bhuyan caught up with Rajeev Chandrasekhar and began by asking him whether the GST bill timelines will not be followed as the Rajya Sabha has been adjourned.
If the GST bill is not passed in this session of Parliament, it is fatal and it will completely put at risk the April 2016 deadline. And April 2016 deadline represents 10 years of hard consensus building and decision making on parts of state governments and the central government. It is not a good idea at all for this session to not pass this GST bill and therefore for the April 2016 deadline to be missed. We cannot afford that as a nation, and it will be almost a complete waste of the last 10 years of work.
What about the regional parties? It seems they are on board, including AIDMK?
No, I think there is really no opposition to GST bill. I think what is happening today is a playing out of some other politics and therefore disruption of the Parliament. The GST bill, there may be some elements within the Parliament that believe in a purer form of GST, including on the issues of 1% tax. But on the core GST proposition, I do not believe that there is any opposition and there is real widespread political consensus between state governments and the union government.
Well, last question, sir. What about the GST rate itself? Of course, the GST Council will take a final call on that. But what kind of discussions happened? Because we understand that some parties wanted it to be at around 20% or around that rate.
I think let's be reasonable and practical. I don't think there is a government today, whether it's in the state or the center, that wants a high rate of GST, because high rates of GST means more evasion. Lower, more reasonable rates means much more expansion of the tax base. It will be a reasonable base. It will be a thought-through, discussed base number between the states and the union government. I don't think people should worry too much about the number, because it is in the interest of all governments to keep the rate reasonable.
What is a reasonable rate then?
In my opinion, any rate which is around 15% plus or minus 2 to 3%, in my opinion, is a reasonable rate.
All right, then.